So here's the thing: when you received your bag, this Ziploc bag with clay, you either got recycled clay, which looks like this. You can see this. This is wet. Look, if I touch it, it gets stuck on my finger. So it's almost mud. And unfortunately, there wasn't much I could do about it because this is just how the clay was when I pulled it out of the buckets, of the recycled buckets. Now, there's its advantages and disadvantages for the clay to be this wet, okay? So I'll point this out in a minute. And then some of you got brand new clay that comes in a bag like this. Not many of you, but some of you got this clay. Now, check out this clay. This is, look, it is harder than this. So anyway, it's you can see the difference between these two clays. So the way you can get some of the water, some of the moisture out of this clay is by throwing it a couple times and by wedging it. And so I'm just gonna take a little piece, and when you do this, when you throw it, it helps release some of the water, and it also depends on the surface. I really picked a bag that was really, where the clay was really wet. Look at that. Look at my hands. So right. So that's how this clay is right now. You can see my hands. So what is the advantage of having such wet clay that is almost like mud? The advantage is that you're gonna be able to mold it really, really easy. So let's get the cheesecloth, and remember the cheesecloth, you're going to fold it in half like that. So there are 2 layers, and then you're gonna center it, cover it, and push it inside the bowl. Okay, like that. So we have it ready. Grab a piece and make a ball like this. Make sure that the ball is about this big. Yeah, about that big. And what I want you to do is I want you to do this. If that pug fits inside your fingers like this, then that's a decent size. Okay, right there. So there's one ball. Let's make I don't know, about 8. Here's another ball. Yeah. It doesn't have to be perfectly round or exactly the same size, but like I said, if you use your finger the way I'm doing it right now, like that, then look at that. So then it's gonna be about the right size. So I hope you're doing that along with me. There you go. There you go. And if you want to see the tip of the index finger, it's right about halfway my thumb, right there. Eight. All right. So now I'm gonna take my ball and Now, I think I need to point something out before before I make the first before I put the first pug inside the bowl. So the whole idea here is that you have that like this, and I'll kind of do it sideways, and you're gonna press it down, right? And when you press it down, uh, it's gonna look like an Oreo. Look at that. See that? This is gonna be the thickness, a little bit bigger than a quarter of an inch. Look at that. Look at that thickness. So that's the goal. That make sure that the pugs are about that thick when you put them inside the bowl. So let's start with the first one. Put it right dead center, and you're gonna go ahead and press down. Again, you saw me how far I went when I was pressing down, and so there it is. There's the first pug, and now the next pug, I'm gonna put it like right overlapping. Can you see that? It's overlapping the bottom one, and I'm going to press down again. And when I press down, I am smearing the, just hold the pugs if they move around. Uh, look what I'm doing. I'm pressing down, making it about the thickness of an Oreo, and then I'm smearing the second pug into the first pug. All right, and we're gonna do sort of like a flower shape. So here's the next. Here's the third one. Put it right next to the first one and the second one, and then press down to the thickness of an Oreo or a cookie. And look how I am smearing. Yeah. So there's the third one. Now let's go to the fourth one and put it right next to the third one and the first one. Press it down about the thickness of, and then smear towards the center, right? Like that. And so that's what you're gonna keep doing. Now take your next one, and again, press down about, it might be a little bit trickier right here on this area where the bowl curves up, but try your best to press down about the thickness of an Oreo. There you go. And always pushing, pulling the clay towards the center. Okay, see that? Right there so far. So this guarantees that your thickness of the bowl is about the same. So here you go. Again, press down. And one quick trick, see how I'm pushing down with my thumb like right here? Because right here, I can feel the thickness like that. I can feel the thickness of the bowl on the outside. And so I kind of get a sense of how much pressure enough pressure to have about the same thickness. So I kind of, if you noticed, I create this kind of a gap right there. So that's actually where I'm putting the pug inside those little corners that are created by the, so again, I'm pressing down hard enough to have that thickness that I'm talking about. Okay, so there you have it. Then take the other one. There's that little gap right there. So overlap it, press down, and smear. I'm gonna wash my hands because I have never used such wet clay. One of the reasons why you don't want to make so many pugs at the same time is because they might start drying, and I should probably leave one out just to see later for me to use it. I'm gonna keep using this really wet clay because I am challenging myself right now to make a bowl with clay that is super wet. So, and obviously I don't have to worry about it drying on me because it's really wet. So, and what this shows, guys, is that sometimes um, you cannot have the perfect situation with the clay. You know, sometimes the clay is gonna be too soft. Sometimes it's gonna be too hard. So you're gonna have to adjust to where the clay is. So um, that's what's happening here with me. Um, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so going back to the bowl, um, keep going around, overlap it, press down, smear, overlap it, press down, smear, overlap it, press down, smear. Now look how I'm holding the look how I'm holding the bowl and how I'm using both of my fingers because this is a way that I'm measuring to keep look like this. This is what's happening right here, like that. See how I'm holding my fingers outside? So I like to use these two fingers, the middle finger and the thumb, to feel the thickness of the clay. And so let's do the next one. Right here. So as long as I keep the thickness in the center, I don't have to worry about the edges sometimes here. See that? Uh, the center of the pug is where my measurement is right here. When I go like that, see that? So here, like that, same, about the same. Okay, so let me keep going. A little thicker, but, and I think if you know how to measure the uh, the thickness right here on the bowl, you don't have to worry too much about how big or small the pug is. So sometimes a tiny bit smaller, tiny bit bigger. So there you go, that little corner. But the thickness of okay. Super wet. Anyway, again, one of the advantages is that it's super um, moldable, or uh, I can really manipulate the the pugs, the clay, by having it so soft. Now, here you can see that that's the thickness of my bowl right here, because that's my measurement right here. This is about how thick I'm leaving it as I press down. Uh, and so press down. All right. So probably one more here. And sometimes I cheat a little bit because look, I'm making a smaller pug, because this, just for this little space right here. And see, so there you have it. That's, so now I'm gonna put a little piece over here on this one. There's still a little big of a gap right here. And remember, you're in control. You're the one who decides how much you're pressing down. There you go. Got it? So now I'm not going all the way to the top, because this is where I was telling you that um, we need to put a pug that is gonna stick out or come out, because that's where the cracking happens, between these gaps, where the pugs come together. So um, actually, before I put the last row of pugs, what I'm gonna do is take advantage of the fact that the uh, the clay is really flexible, and I'm gonna try to smooth it out as much as I can. So if you're pressing down the pugs about the right amount of pressure, you should have no problem. I like to use my thumb, because to even it out, because it's look, I'm using the you could use these two fingers or these two fingers like this. So, or the whole hand like that. You can like slide it, and that will give you a about the right. Look at that. See that? About the right thickness. When you run your fingers like that, you can almost feel where it's thicker and where it's thinner. I can feel that it's thinner right here in this little corner, but I'll come back and patch it up later if I have to. Okay, so let's do the last row of pugs. Um, let me just make a few so I don't have to keep. Super wet. Oh my God, my hands. Oh, look at my hands. Really challenging myself with this almost unmanageable clay. But remember, I'm the one in control, right? Uh, let me wash my hands real quick. All right, so far so good. I'm gonna go ahead and do the top the top one. And again, I think last time what I was telling you, it was just to make sure that there's a good bond. I was telling you to uh, do a little bit of scoring. So there's the scoring. Okay, So here it is, guys. See how, let me see a good angle. See how much it's sticking out? Don't worry about it being messy or anything, just as long as there's some clay sticking out, right? So there's one. When you do the scoring, it blends in, look at that. It blends in that little gap that might become a crack in the future. So here's the union of those two. And then I go ahead and put the plug. Again, I'm not worrying about it being too thick because I can always come back and so now you can see that that union, this right here of the two plugs, now is outside of the inside of the bowl. See that? And I think that's what we are trying to accomplish. So I'm gonna go ahead and you know what? Like my clay is so wet that probably this might not be necessary. But again, you always want to play it safe and do that. So I think it's better just to do it. So here's the scoring and pressing down. And if you use a little bit more clay, no problem. Okay. So I'm really all I want is to have a lot of clay right here. And if you want, go ahead and you know kind of fold it back to the outside like this. I'm gonna do that in a minute. See that? Don't worry about it. Just put clay there. I also like to kind of like blend it like this to get rid of the gaps. Look, just like that. There you have it. Okay, so that I'm gonna extend it here like that so I can push it out this way. Same thing here. Boom, look at that. It's almost you blending in the clay. You're in control, right? There you go. Boom, there you go. Press down, mold it. There you go. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and score this area here. Boom, there you go. A couple more. Super wet. Okay. It's almost mud. I'm working with mud. Oh God. Okay, there you go. I'm trying to make this in less than an hour. So there you go. Don't be afraid. And now I'm gonna go ahead and mold it around, because I think this is the most important thing when you are making this, that the your clay might be a little bit harder than mine, so you might not be having a little bit of this issue that I have right now. So, because I'm even able to pull the clay. Look at that. I'm almost like molding the rim. Now remember, this is not going to be the rim because we're going to be trimming. This is not the rim at all. I just want to make sure that I get rid of the gaps, because those are the ones that could become cracks later. So there you go. So wash my hands one more time. So how about we call this the video of the bowl with the clay that is super wet. It's almost like mud, right? The consistency of mud. Okay, so here you have it, guys. Look, see, it does not look pretty at all. Okay, so now, if you guys remember the first video, I did a different approach to the second video, because I realized that it would probably be better for you to look at how thick the rim is uh, on the first day, so that you could take care of the rim and take care of the inside on the first day. So I'm gonna do it that way. Okay. I I where's the I really like the I really like this dental floss, and so I'm gonna go ahead and trim the top right now. Go like that, like put it like around your thumb or your middle finger, whichever. I think middle finger is kind of good, like that. See that? And I'm gonna go ahead and go down to where the plastic, remove the plastic. Right here, what's cool, I can just go up like that, and I can look at that. See, just look. See that right there. See how even the thickness of the bowl is right there. That's what I was talking about. And there's no, you cannot see the little union of the two pugs because of the uh, scoring that I did. Okay, so I'm keeping it again, going back, sliding. I don't want to do the whole thing in one shot. I'm just cutting little pieces at a time. And look, okay. So I'm pretty much whatever works for you. Boom, boom. There you go. Look, all this is still good. Look, I can put it together like that, bring it, make a ball, and I it's still good. I can still use this. So I'll put it back in the, so here you go, guys. You can see that how thick, this is almost a half an inch, almost twice as much as what I wanted, but it's okay, all right? So now you have a nice rim right here. There you go. See that? Now, you want to carve. You don't want the thickness of your bowl to be any thicker than this, than a half an inch. And so this is where I was telling you that there's an advantage of having this, of your clay being this soft, because I can literally carve the carve the clay out. Let's see if I can focus that. Focus, okay. So if I want to make it even and a little bit thinner, all I need to do is do this. Now, here's something really interesting happening. Look, it is so wet that when I try to carve it, look what happens. I pull it out of the edge, right? So this is like this is like one of those bad situations. I'm gonna just kind of put it back. And so what I'm gonna do with this one is that I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm gonna wait until it becomes leather hard, and then I can trim it. I'm just making the rim nice and smooth and even. And so this is what I'm talking about, guys. You are in control. Right now, the clay does not want to work with me. And I'm just going to wait. I'm just gonna wait. But that doesn't mean that I cannot work the inside. Look, I can go like this with my finger and try to even it out as much as I can at this point. Look at that. Because I can feel the thickness. So in a way, I am making it thinner by pressing in the inside. So I'm doing it that way. I can take my finger, this part of the thumb, and I can literally press down to make it thinner. And what's happening, part of the clay, I'm pushing the clay up. So there's no rules, guys. Look at that. I'm gonna do what I want with this clay. The clay is not gonna tell me what to do. I could use, well, actually I can just use my finger to smooth it out. If you notice, just by putting a little bit of water, it helped for the clay not to stick on my hand. So I am literally making it thinner by pressing down on the clay. And it's gonna pretty much, you know that this thing is not gonna have issues with cracks, right? I'm not gonna have it. Now watch what happened as I was pressing the clay. See that? Now it's not even anymore. I hope you can see that. See that? Now the inside of the clay of the bowl, it's sticking out. So guess what I'm gonna do? My best friend, the the dental floss. Okay, I'm gonna give it one more cut. Boom, there you go. Look at that. See that? Let me clean it up. So all right, there you go. Still good. I'm gonna reuse this. So there you have it, guys. I made it a little bit thinner, and I can go around with my finger and even it out. Keep the same movement, same direction. Okay, so I'm gonna stop, and now this is, I'm gonna let this dry, and I'm just gonna leave it out. I might I might bring it inside the bedroom where the temperature is more, where it's more room temperature, and hopefully it'll harden a little bit more. Okay, so there you have it.